To start, go to the Shanks tab and select the Curve command. Set the region to USA and choose a 6.5 size. Next, navigate to the Diamonds tab and select the Gem Studio command. Choose Shape, Cushion. Set the size to 1.45 carats. Set vertical alignment to Q-lit, and set Move in Z to 1.15 millimeters. Ensure the OSNAP option is active to facilitate precise placement. As you can see, when you click to add the gem to a point, with OSNAP enabled, the gem snaps to different points on the curve. Select the top point in the center, mid, quad, knot. Once the gem is added, click Accept. We will change the display mode to shaded by clicking on the bottom right corner of each viewport. Now we will create a curve from the front view. Go to the Curve tab and locate the Arc submenu. Use the Start, End, Point on Arc command. Create the curve as follows. First point. Click slightly to the left of the gem's fillet. Second point. Click a square and a half below the central axis on the bottom side. Third point, arc point, click approximately midway between the first and second points. Ensure the middle point is horizontally aligned with the top point, as shown in the reference image. Now, select the arc and go to the Solid tab and select the Pipe command. In the command prompt, set output to sub-D. Choose Cap, Round. Enter 0.6 millimeters for the pipe diameter and press Enter twice. Now let's work on the prong using the sub-D tools. First, switch to the sub-D tab and select Face Selection Mode. From the top view, hold down Shift and select the 4 top faces of the prong. Once selected, go to the sub-D tab and click Merge Faces to combine them. Next, we'll adjust the shape of the prong. Use the gumball tool to scale the selection down proportionally. Then, from the front view, move the selection upward to create a tapered tip. Remember, since we're working with sub-D, we don't need to worry about exact measurements. Just use the top of the gem as a visual reference and raise the selected face above it. To align the prong with the gem's crown center, you can draw a reference line like the one shown in the image. This will help you position the prong accurately. Use the gumball tool in the front view, moving only the red and blue arrows to position the tip of the prong. Be sure to check your adjustments in the other views, especially the perspective view and top view, to ensure everything is properly aligned. Now, let's refine the edges of the prong. Let's go back to the sub-D tab, and as you can see, we currently have Face Selection Mode active. This means that when we hover the mouse over the mesh, it highlights the faces. Now let's switch the selection mode to Edge Selection. Double-click the last horizontal edge of the prong. Use the green rotation circle on the gumball tool to rotate and smooth the edge. By following these steps, you'll achieve a well-shaped, clean prong with smooth and refined edges. Now let's create a second prong for our model. First, switch the selection mode to Object in the sub-D tab. Next, we'll delete the reference curve created for positioning the prong. From the top view, we'll create a copy of the prong. To do this, use the gumball tool, and while holding Alt, move the prong upwards to create a duplicate. Now, using the gumball tool, rotate the prong so it aligns with the line of the gem. To get a better view, zoom in on the top viewport. Also, change the display mode to wireframe so you can see the entire prong clearly. Align the prong as shown in the reference image. Once it's aligned, you can switch back to shaded mode. To continue, we'll create a mirror of the prong. Select the last prong, then go to the Transform tab and click on the Mirror command. In the OSNAP menu, select Project, and then make sure the Record History option is activated at the bottom. Now, in the command prompt, type 0 to set the center of rotation at the central axis. Since OSNAP is enabled, it will help us select the second point for rotation. Now let's display all the views again. Looking from the perspective view, we can see that the two prongs intersect with each other. This ensures they form a solid and strong base for the model. To make it even stronger, we'll adjust the prong so that it's closer to the other one. Since Record History is enabled, the mirror will automatically adjust as well. Make all the necessary adjustments to ensure a solid base. You can use the other views to check your movements from different angles and ensure everything is aligned properly. Click on the submenu of the viewport, go to the Pan, Zoom, and Rotate option, and then select Zoom Extents All to center all the elements in the viewport. Now we can delete the first prong and the curve we used to create it. To continue building our organic basket, we'll create another mirror. Select the prong, make sure the top view is active, and use the mirror command. Next, in the command prompt, select the Z-axis option to create the mirror. Now that we have our third prong created, we need to join them together. To do this, use the perspective view to get a close-up view of the model. Next, go to the Sub-D tab and activate Record History to save our movements. Then use the Bridge command to create a connection between the two prongs. Select 5 faces from the bottom up of the first prong, and then select the corresponding faces on the internal part of the same prong. Once selected, press Enter to mark them. Now, repeat the same procedure for the other prong. If you select an unwanted face, you can simply hold Ctrl and click on that face to deselect it. Once both prongs are selected, press Enter to create the bridge. As we can see, if we don't select the same number of faces on both prongs, the bridge won't complete properly, and we'll need to go back and reselect the faces to ensure they match. In the dialog box, change the number of segments to 2 to create a seam down the middle of the bridge. This will allow us to easily edit the bridge later. Because record history is activated, the other bridge will be created automatically, updating in real time as you make changes. Now to finish, we'll simply create a mirror of each part to complete our basket. Select the first part, go to the Transform tab, and use the Mirror command. Then type 0 in the command prompt and press Enter to set the center of rotation. By holding Shift, we can activate the Ortho option. Simply click on the top part while holding Shift to apply the mirror. Now let's do the same on the other side. Select the second part, use the Mirror command, and select 0 as the axis point. Hold Shift and click on the right part to apply the mirror. Now we have our basket fully completed. To give our basket a more organic feel, we're going to adjust the bridge to allow more light into the gem. In the perspective view, hold Ctrl plus Shift to select points and edges on the mesh. First, select the central top point of the bridge, then use the same procedure to select the contiguous edges. Using the gumball tool in the right view, move the selected elements downward. To visualize the adjustment better, go to the Viewport submenu, select Set View, and change the view to left. Lower the selection slightly, then select the central point and move it up to smooth the mesh. Now we can see that only the 2 sides connected by record history were modified. We can delete the other 2 and redo the mirror as we did before. Remember to use Shift to perfectly align the mirror. Now, our basket is fully finished. To save it for later use, we'll store it in Curator. Select all the elements, go to the Curator panel, and create a new folder. Give it a name. And once the folder is created, add the selection to Curator. Don't forget to name it as well. Now we have our basket saved in Curator and ready to reuse whenever we need it.